Right, ladies and gentlemen, now time for a little bit of round the baler chat on the Vicon stand, and I am now joined, I'm pleased to say, by Luke Souquet from Vicon, who is going to talk us through this new fixed chamber Combi-Baler development from Vicon. So Luke, kick us off. I mean, for a start off, what model is this?
So we are here having the FixBale 500. FlexiWrap, we call it the FlexiWrap. FlexiWrap calls for the combination.
Right.
Okay. And the FixBale 500, the baler, is also existing as a solo baler.
I was going to say, because that's been around for quite a while now. In fact, we've even tried that out on lamppowertv.com, so we are quite familiar with that baler. But for those that may not know the FixBale 500, just talk us through the baler itself, so what it comprises.
So maybe we come a little bit around this way.
Yeah.
So I think the key elements is first when we start with the intake where the crop is coming in. So we have a pickup which is actually new generation there, 2.3 meter walking width. Then we have the rotor, which is actually 52 centimeters diameter.
Yeah.
Also bigger than in the past generation, but it has always been that size on that model.
Yeah.
And it's actually in this case featuring 15 knives. Okay. We will have an option also for 25 knives in the coming months.
Okay, so that's still to come, yeah?
Exactly.
Right. And with the 25 knives, can you drop half of them in and half of them
that
out?
will also be working on group selection.
Yeah, you can do that from the cab.
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
Then we have a drop floor system, which allows, in case of the rotor blockages, to actually lower the floor to output the blockage from the cab as well, so you don't need to come out. And we have a particularity on this machine. This drop floor is actually mounted on a parallelogram, so it will lower not only on the back, but also a little bit on the front.
Right.
Exactly.
Excellent. And just going back to the pickup, is this a 4 or 5 tine bar?
So this is a 5 tine bar pickup, and this actually having also an extremely tough construction because we have a double cam drive.
Right.
So we have a cam on the right and on the left, which is not always the case.
No.
And we have also inner disc that supports the tines bar in the center to avoid that they have deflection risk.
So for heavy duty silage conditions.
Correct.
Wet grass.
Correct.
So for the UK and Irish market then.
Perfect.
And the pickup, you mentioned, obviously it's cam tracks either side. Obviously there's lots of other balers on the market. They are camless. Obviously you've gone with cam tracks. What would you say are the advantages by sticking with the cam track design and philosophy?
Okay, so this is a very good question actually, because we like to argue that element. We have to think that when the tines are driven, so by a cam, we have actually a better crop flow. Right. Because we are actually moving the crop really to the end of the pickup, so close of the rotor, and at the very last moment the tines will exit by the cam drive. When you have a camless, the tines cannot exit, so you are forced to leave the crop a little bit further before. Right. And then you have a bigger gap between the end of the tines of the pickup / the rotor ones.
And is that why the camless pickups tend to run a little bit faster to try and get it into the throat?
That's actually correct,
right.
Because they need to push a little bit more by speed. It's actually working quite good in some crop condition. Lighter they are, longer the crop, best.
Right.
But in short crop, heavy, wet crop, it's still not the best mechanism.
Okay.
We would prefer the cam
Fair
drive
dues.
for that.
So moving back then, talk us through the chamber. How many rollers are on this?
So this machine features the 18 rollers chamber. It's also one more than on the previous generation we had over the past. So we divide basically the weight of the bale and the compression, the density pressure over more rollers and more bearings.
Yeah.
We have also 2 bottom roller, okay, which is not unique but rare, I would say, into the market.
Yeah.
So we support the bale weight onto 2 rollers instead of 1.
Right. And will you get more positive drive of the bale in the chamber by having that on the bottom, or?
I wouldn't say so. It's more for the weight and for the reliability, lifetime of the machine that it is made about. The drive, the bale rotation will normally never be a big problem unless it's a fixed chamber baler, unless you start to bale very dry crop, I would say.
Got you. And speaking of reliability, long life,
Yes.
just talk us through some of the construction of this, particularly the chains and the sprockets on this, because it does look quite substantial, you might say.
Exactly. So this is also one of the massive change that we had through the last years in developing our new baler range. We have actually increased, as you say, not the chain size, they are actually the same,
Right.
but the sprocket drives. So we are actually passing the torque through a more number of teeth and on a longer portion of the chain.
Yeah.
So of course we reduce the chain stress by this. And the second asset, we have a lot worked on the drive of the root of the chain, I would say, to avoid the big angles, to avoid that the
Okay,
joints
yeah.
are making too much friction. Also, this is making the lifetime for the chains much bigger.
Good stuff. So, moving back, so that's pretty much the FixBale 500.
Correct.
Obviously the baler
That's
element of
correct.
it. Let's move on to the wrapping section. So, I mean, for a start off, just talk us through this chassis, because is this built by a partner of yours that does this, or is this built by Vicon?
Now, this is a good question. It's actually made in partnership with the Austrian manufacturer Goel.
Oh, yes, know them well.
Yes, exactly. So that's actually the back part. So the wrapping system and the chassis that sustain the baler
Yeah.
will be from them. But the machine for an end user is known as a full Vicon baler.
Yes, it comes from factory like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And from the service, from the spare part supply and all the things, this is a pure Vicon machine side, all on the Vicon side.
Right. And why go with Goel to produce a Combi-Baler? Because obviously, you've got the FastBale, which is pretty much Combi-Baler, non-stop Combi-Baler. Could you have not adapted that design to create, like a conventional Combi-Baler?
I would answer that question saying that it's not that easy than it looks.
No,
Because
it's not as easy as it sounds.
No, because in the business, so the FastBale is the high end of the segment.
Yes.
It's a non-stop machine,
Yeah.
It's unique in the market, and it stands also with a price that's called for the double chamber technology and the non-stop technology, which is higher price. So we also wanted with such a product to be also in the standard segment.
Yeah.
And doing that, we could have done it the way you say, by simplifying the FastBale, for example.
Just the one chamber.
But you still need to be positioned right in price.
Exactly.
And simplifying a FastBale was not always the correct route in terms
not
of
a cheap
cost
option.
manufacturing. Exactly. You got it.
So this, like I say, this is the most cost-effective solution
Yes.
to do it. And you're no stranger to Goel. You've worked with these guys before in the past, haven't you?
From already quite some years.
That's right. Yeah. Cool. So just talk us through the actual wrapper itself, the transfer, and so on.
So basically, one of the unique points of this machine is the transfer mechanism, which is not really a transfer mechanism, because the way it works is just a wrapping table to move.
So the whole table moves.
Yes.
It's not tipped onto a table.
The full table moves front to the front, get the bale directly from the chamber. So there is no bale transfer as such. The bale directly falls on the table, and then it will be just the table moving back to its position for wrapping. This is actually quite quick. This is very stable. So the machine can work also in EV hills,
quite a low
for
machine,
example.
isn't it?
Yes. In EV hills, the stability of the bale will be always perfect, because sitting on the table from the beginning, no movement for the bale itself. Then when we come to the wrapping, so we have the satellite technology, double satellite, pretty well known into the market, four bales table, and then we can have as an option as well, of course, the bale rotator.
Okay.
For those markets who like to
tip it
have
on the end.
Yes.
And when this tips off this, does this actually lower right down?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you will unload the bale, that two rollers here will become like 10 centimeters from the ground.
Got you.
Yeah, straight down.
Good stuff. And have you guys got any other sort of unique features on this that are worth shouting about?
So something specific that we can eventually mention is the triple roller technology there for the pre-stretching.
Yeah.
Because this is actually stretching film in 2 times,
right,
not only in 1. So we actually improve by this solution the film resistance even after the stretching, because you know that the stretching is always making the film a little bit more brittle.
Yeah.
And instead of stretching it 75% in one go, you go first 60 and then another 15.
Oh, so you do like
then
a two-step
yes,
process,
so you
right?
are avoiding to stress too
Just
much the
one.
plastic,
Yeah.
and then it's more resistant out of the system. And then what I said before, the transfer system would be actually, and the lowest point of the machine with the tandem axle would be the key elements that we could comment.
So tandem axle here, is there any suspension with this at all, or is it just a rocker axle? Or
Yeah, it's actually just
a rocker axle.
rotor axle. There is a specific things, especially on the braking, that I could mention here. They have actually this tandem axle mounted into an hydraulic mechanism that will, depending of the brake force you are applying, will actually tend to rectify the weight on each of the front
so
or
it's
the back axle.
self-leveling.
So, exactly. So it will pull back the force more to the back to avoid that all the braking is on the front wheels, which naturally would be tended to do it.
Right.
And this is without any intervention of no one. It's purely controlled on the machine itself.
Cool. And finally then, can you get steering axles on these, or is it just, it's just fixed?
No, it's a fixed axle. Now the machine is mounted here with the 560 wheels, which are the standard one.
Yeah.
But we have also an option that goes to 700 wide.
Cool. Well, Luke, thank you very much for your time. It's been absolutely spot on. Great to hear about new innovations from Vicon, and hopefully, well, when will we see these in the UK? Are they available next year, or?
They are actually available from already, let's say now.
So you can order it now?
They are orderable, exactly. So then it depends, of course, then of the local sales company and so on, but it's definitively available. Yeah.
Excellent. Luke, once again, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.